Ciao, paesani, and greetings from Italian America. Today, we're going to explore the Italian side of Staten Island, New York. For many of us in the New York area, Staten Island is a place that we know is close by, but often seems very far away. New York City's most overlooked and often misunderstood borough also happens to carry the nickname Staten Italy, so you know this is a place we need to explore. I guess the Italian history of Staten Island begins at the beginning, in 1524, as a French ship called La Dauphine, sailing under the command of an Italian explorer named Giovanni de Verrazzano, makes its way along the Atlantic coast of North America. That year, Verrazzano made history, becoming not only the first European to land on Staten Island, but the first to enter New York Harbor altogether, revealing to the old world this stunning natural harbor that would one day grow into the greatest metropolis on Earth. And by the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the simultaneous circumstances of Italian poverty and American opportunity sparked a mass exodus from Italy, bringing many of our ancestors across the ocean in search of a better life in that booming city. What you might not have known, though, is that Staten Island also saw something of a second Italian immigration boom nearly 100 years later. But this time, our people weren't crossing an ocean, but a river. In 1964, the completion of the Verrazzano Narrows Bridge, perfectly named for the aforementioned Italian explorer, meant that New York's most disconnected borough was finally and truly connected to the rest of the town, and many New Yorkers were encouraged to venture outward in search of the suburban ideal, so much so that the island's population actually doubled by the year 2000. Do a little digging, and you'll find that Staten Island has been the setting for some incredible history, and has produced, or at least been home to, more than its fair share of famous names. But for today's visit, it's all about our paesani, who today make up over 35% of the population. That's more than any other county in the United States. And what better way to start our day than with a stop by Highland Boulevard for an authentic Italian breakfast, compliments of Bruno's Bakery.
I have today the incredible pleasure to be here on Staten Island at Bruno's Pasticceria, an institution in New York if there ever was one. And I have with us today the artisanal master, the pastry king, Joe Settepane. How appropriate is that a baker will have the last name of Seven Breads. So Joe, thank you so much for having us here. You laid out this beautiful breakfast. I want to ask you, I think I know the answer, but what makes your pasticceria the go-to place on Staten Island?
I have to say, I think it's because we're one of the most authentic pastry shops. I don't just think in Staten Island, I think also in New York. So we really take a lot of pride and joy in bringing a little bit of Italy right here in New York.
The Settepane family has been serving up these continental feasts for close to 50 years now, and what started across the water in Manhattan in 1973 has now blossomed into multiple locations right here on Staten Island, with the next generation working to build on their proud family traditions.
So this is your typical Italian breakfast, especially when I go to Italy, I want my bomboloni con Nutella, or my bomboloni con crema, or my croissants. And then here, you don't really find this in the States anywhere. So this is actually a panettone. Instead of making them round throughout the year, I make them in the shape of a loaf, like a yogurt pound cake. And people love it because like the same way, you can slice it thinly, you can spread out. This is our homemade Nutella.
Homemade Nutella.
Yeah.
Just for the homemade Nutella, it's worth the trip.
So you spread it on.
Now let me ask you, is it all hazelnut, chocolate? Tell us what your proprietary, the Settepane hazelnut spread. What is special about the Settepane hazelnut spread?
Nothing crazy, I just keep it as authentic as possible without any preservatives in it. So we make it almost on a weekly basis so it doesn't go bad. It also,
always fresh. Is that your motto?
Always fresh, always fresh. And we put actually roasted hazelnut pieces in it, so it's like a crunchy hazelnut spread.
Our verdict? Perfetto. No better way to kick off today's tour through Italian America than with a taste of the motherland. Grazie, Joe. Oh, everywhere we visit, It's certainly clear that our Italian ancestors have made their mark on the American menu, a culinary legacy that all Americans are the fortunate beneficiaries of. But what about our contributions that don't directly involve the dinner table? I'm talking about the pioneering spirit of explorers like Verrazzano, the artwork, from painters and sculptors of the Renaissance to the film and television titans of today. It's the brilliant ingenuity of the Italian inventor, from Da Vinci's contributions to aviation to Marconi's radio. And of course, this little beauty, which many of us love so much that we sleep next to it every night. No, I'm not talking about Steve Jobs. I'm not even talking about Alexander Graham Bell. But I am talking about the telephone, and its true inventor, Antonio Meucci.
Antonio Meucci is a really interesting character in Italian American history, but also the history of Staten Island, because again, this was his house. And Meucci was from Florence. He came to the United States, to Staten Island, and in 1854, he really invented the first ever telephone, the teletrofono he called it. And he actually started a company, the Teletrofono Company. Unfortunately for him, he was really short on cash, didn't take out a patent. And Alexander Graham Bell goes on to invent an electric telephone, gets the patent, then Ma Bell and the Bell Phone Company in every part of the United States, one of the biggest monopolies ever.
Meucci came to the United States in 1850 and settled right here in the Rosebank section of Staten Island, where, when he wasn't working on his world-changing invention, he dedicated himself to helping his fellow Italians living in this strange new land. Most notably, Giuseppe Garibaldi, the famed Italian nationalist, who many consider the hero of the two worlds. Garibaldi lived here with Meucci for 2 years, in what today is known as the Garibaldi-Meucci Museum. 170 years ago, however, this must-see Staten Island attraction was a simple farmhouse, a part-time candle factory, and the birthplace of a voice communication link known today as the telephone. Sure, it was Alexander Graham Bell, a brilliant inventor in his own right, who would file the first successful patent for the telephone. But it's impossible to deny Meucci's contributions to not only our most cherished communication device, but Italian American history in general. Switching back to food, because, come on, the options here are endless, and many are even historic. In 1921, a young cooper from the Italian region of Piemonte opened the Basilio Inn, a popular gathering spot for Italian immigrants from all over the New York City area. Today it stands as the oldest restaurant on Staten Island, serving genuinely amazing Italian food, along with bocce courts, vegetable gardens, and our favorite spot, the Grape Arbor. In 1949, Port Richmond Avenue became the home of Ralph Silvestro's American Dream, when he opened the first of many future Ralph's Italian Ice and ice cream spots. And in 1965, a talented entrepreneur named Anthony Aiello graced the island with a little taste of Brooklyn and the second location of his famed Pastosa stores. Today, Pastosa boasts several tri-state area locations. Famed for its incomparable ravioli, it's an Italian food lover's dream, consisting of a mix of franchises and family-owned establishments, currently run by Aiello's son-in-law, Vincent D'Antuono Sr.
Always can tell a good place by a nice clean kitchen.
Absolutely.
Following in the footsteps of his father-in-law, a former Polio employee, Vincent takes immense pride in his cheese, something we're all happy to vouch for.
Well, mozzarella is a dying art to really make good mozzarella. Do you know we never sold a day-old mozzarella over 50 years.
That's amazing.
Only fresh and warm, like a little bunny.
I love this guy. He's so cute.
But it's his passion for food in general that has fueled Pastosa's continued success and expansion, including his general understanding of the importance of that food to so many of the experiences that bind and keep our Italian families together and strong for generations.
So Vinny, why do you think food is so important in an Italian family, especially in a Staten Island Italian family?
Well, food is like a religion. You must have it. And what's a better place to have a good conversation but around lots of good dishes and around a table with all the family. That is the best tradition of authentic Italian meals. And, wait, right? Am I right?
Right, you're right.
As usual, we've sampled plenty of delicacies, and even took a much-needed stroll through the history and happenings of this unique borough. But we'd be remiss if we sent you on your way without a mention of the island's incredible devotion. And one more stop in Rosebank for a true hidden gem, the Our Lady of Mt.Carmel Grotto.
We're here now at a place that I think is absolutely the gem in the crown of Staten Island's Italian community. This is Rosebank, the Rosebank section of Staten Island. And here was crafted by an Italian immigrant named Vito Russo in 1937, a shrine to Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Wherever you go throughout the south of Italy, if it's an altar, if it's a statue, if it's a procession, if it's a chapel, there's a devotion to every town in the south of Italy. Every village has a devotion to Our Lady of Mount Carmel.
Russo's magnificent structure can safely be called a labor of love. It's a vision he dreamt up even before arriving in the United States. Built mostly from hand-blown glass, sand, and other materials found along the beach, it's fashioned to be reminiscent of the ancient Italian churches of his childhood memories.
Yeah, I mean, you see like that beautiful wall with all these mass cards pinned to it. You really see everyone's hope, everyone's faith that they brought here to leave a piece here to remember someone. It's so beautiful. This is such a powerful experience to even just be here with all this energy.
Yeah, the faith, the accumulated prayers. It's beautiful to be on a place like Staten Island and take a respite in a grotto like this.
I never knew this was here. I bet so many people didn't know this was here.
Neither did I.
But that's the point. Someone said that you have to come to find this place. You have to come to search for it. Yeah. It's really in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. You have to come and discover it.
In the year 2000, the grotto was added to the National Register of Historic Places, a beautiful shrine to faith and culture, and an inviting refuge for prayer and reflection, beloved by the island's residents, both past and present, and all who are fortunate enough to find it for themselves. So, that's Staten Island. Pretty incredible place, right? If you live in the area, or you find yourself visiting, and like us, you can't get enough of the Italian culture, you won't want to miss out on a visit to Casa Belvedere. This one-of-a-kind neo-Renaissance style estate, one of the last of its kind in the New York City area, was built in 1908 and lovingly restored under the leadership of our wonderful tour guide and friend, Gina Biancardi, who has officially transformed the mansion and its properties into the Italian Cultural Foundation, a not-for-profit organization offering amazing programs like language and cooking classes, art and photo exhibits, film festivals, luncheons, car and fashion shows, concerts, bocce, tombola nights, wine tastings, and plenty more. Plus, a members-only club where you can rub elbows with the cream of the crop of Staten Island's Italian colony. Now that's a place we can get used to. Brava, Gina.
So we had a fantastic day today.
Me too.
And you're
It was
the
so
one
much
we
fun.
have to thank for this because you made it happen.
It was my
You
pleasure.
were the guide, the door opener.
I love
You put the
having you
magic in the
guys.
magic. That was Staten Island today.
And what better
Too
way
much.
to end this magical day in Staten Island than with this fabulous meal from one of the finest kitchens in all of Staten Italy. I mean, Gina, I feel like I'm on the Amalfi Coast.
So do I, all the time. I never get enough of it.
This is a great place to come. This is the Belvedere Club at Casa Belvedere. It's members only, but after today, you probably know the person to get you in. So if you make your way out to Staten Island, highly recommend, see what you can do to get to this table and enjoy what is, I'm sure, a phenomenal meal that we're gonna have. So if you enjoyed our adventure today, give us a like, give us a follow, come back for our next trip through Italian America. And for today, we say grazie and salute to Staten Italy.
Salute.
Salute to Staten Italy, guys.
One, two,
Salute.
three.
Buon appetito, let's eat.
Because it's not made in Lombardia, it cannot be panettone. They can call the bread of tone, but it cannot be used to turn panettone. It's prohibited.
Gina, I'm going to give you some raviolis to take home.
Go ahead.
Salud. Salud, Marita. Salud.
Can't clink with nothing when you bad luck.
Oh, you got a little bit in there. I'll give you a little bit.
Yeah, do another one,
Yeah,
Joe.
not
Wait, do another.
much.
We gotta have a good luck. Yeah, keep that.